The beginning of Abram's spiritual journey in Genesis chapter 12 and the culmination of Abraham's spiritual journey in Genesis chapter 22 are described in striking parallels. In chapter 12, Abram's spiritual journey starts with God's command, "Go you forth." In chapter 22, Abraham reaches the climax of his spiritual journey after he receives the same divine command, "Go you forth." In chapter 12, God speaks to Abram for the first time. In chapter 22, God speaks to Abraham for the last time, although his story continues. In both sections, our protagonist is asked to travel to an undisclosed location. And he follows the divine command. Also, in both sections, he builds altars. Furthermore, in both sections, God reinforces the covenantal promise that in him, all the families, all the nations of the earth would be blessed. And again, in both sections, there is a stage-by-stage development, a movement of the action toward the south, where the Negev desert is located. Why this parallelism? Where is Abraham's story taking us? Let me give you a hint. In Genesis 22:6, the wood is placed on Isaac. In Genesis 22:9, Isaac is placed on the wood. Whose role does Isaac play here? And whose role does Abraham play? What is his entire journey all about? Is he just moving from one place to the other? Or there is something much deeper here? Let me read you something. Genesis 22, verse 6, from the last part. And the two of them went together. But Isaac spoke to Abraham, his father, and said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am, my son." Then he said, "Look, the fire and the wood. But where's the lamb for a burnt offering?" And Abraham said, "My son, God will provide for himself the lamb for a burnt offering." So the two of them went together. Now, jump some 2,000 years. Jesus says in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 56, "Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad." Shalom.